Now we can see that when a conductor is in rehearsal or conducting a piece of music in a concert, there are many things going through their mind. They are multitasking at a very high level. They are listening to the recording of their interpretation in their mind. They're hearing in their mind the sound they would like the musicians to create. They are communicating that to the musician through their preparatory beat, one beat before the musician plays. They are then listening to what the musician is creating, deciding, does that meet my interpretation? Does that meet my expectation of what I'd like the interpretation of this music to be? If it is, they just continue on. But if it's not, now everything becomes a little bit more difficult. Now, not only are they hearing their interpretation in their mind, communicating that, and listening to what's being created, but they're having to then correct or guide the musician to that level, to that interpretation that they want by changing how they are communicating non-verbally. So if I want them to play soft and I conduct like this, but it's not loud enough, you may suddenly see me get even smaller and put my hand like this. Or if I want them to be loud, but they're not loud enough, you may see me dig in a little bit more. If I want them to be separated, and I'm doing this, but they're not separated enough, it may become a little bit more pointed to try to get them to shorten those notes even more. And it goes on and on and on with all the possibilities of what could happen and how to then show that. But you're changing as you go based on what you're hearing to make it meet your interpretation. Sometimes the musician does something that's unexpected and you like it even more than your interpretation, so you let it go. And there's many different reasons this may happen. Sometimes it's the way you moved led them to play something in a way that was different than you wanted them to, and so you got to fix how you're moving. Sometimes it's the interpretation on their end of how you moved, which means you still have to change how you move. Sometimes it's the room. The room may be too dry, or the room may make the sound have too much reverberation. So you're having to adjust how they play so that it sounds closer to what you'd like it to be in that specific room. In rehearsal, there was no audience. So the sound was different than once the audience was in there. And thousands of people are soaking up extra sound. So you start changing how they're going to play. All of these things are constantly running through the conductor's head from the moment before the music starts with that first preparatory beat, all the way through to the end of the piece of music and even after it while they wait for the reverberation in the room to die. Every beat of music that the conductor conducts is a preparatory beat for the next beat when the musicians actually play. The conductor is always one beat ahead of the sound so that the musicians know how to create that sound when they get to that moment. Before the music begins, the conductor is bringing the audience and the musician into this world of this piece of music they're about to play, letting everybody get comfortable with the sounds of the room around them, and then showing the preparatory beat so that the musicians on the first beat will play at, hopefully, to the level of the expectation of the interpretation of the conductor. They're then showing every prep beat all the way through, and then at the end they wait until the music is done, the reverberation dies, and then they move for the conclusion of the piece of music. The silence before the music and after the music, as well as the silence in between, is just as important, sometimes even more important, than the sounds that are actually getting created. If those moments of silence have brilliance to them, everybody enters into the silence together, exits out of the silence together, it makes it that the sounds themselves are now laying on a perfect tapestry for this linear art form to reach its highest level. Thank you for watching. For more great videos, subscribe to the Maestro Fox YouTube channel. To learn more about the Maestro, visit StephenAllenFox.com.